Welcome to a new title for this channel, and in fact, it's a new title for the whole of the PC platform. That's right, kind of slipped your focus to notice that the hit console title from Bungie has arrived on our keyboard and mouse shores. PC gamers have had their first glimpses of Destiny 2. Curiously, the first words that you might care to use to describe Destiny is like MMO. Yet it seems to be a tag that the developers themselves decide not to use. If you search for descriptions online, you meet phrases like persistent online shooter. And in truth, that seems to fit around the experience of playing more than these sort of huddled masses around quest-giving NPCs in an open-world environment that you might expect from the phrase MMO. Yet this is a PC version of a previously console-only title, so it's impressive that on first acquaintance you might not even spot the console heritage, save a few UI shortcuts that stand out from the normal sort of grammar of game interfaces. My PC isn't exactly what you might call cutting edge, yet at 1080p I don't think I ever dropped below 60 FPS. Much of the time I was over 100 FPS, and that's with the settings focused on visuals over raw performance. For a newer, high-spec machine, I could well imagine this running at 1440p resolution in the 120 to 150 range. While we mention visuals, let's pause for a moment to marvel at quite how good-looking this game really is. If you're an FPS purist who prefers every game to look like Quake 3, then you'll miss out on what are some truly beautiful sights and effects that Destiny 2 manages to serve up. This isn't just technically impressive, the art direction and overall style of the game deserves credit too. PC FPS aficionados will be further impressed by the solid basics on display. The gunplay feels great. I've seen Halo fans mention that it's reminiscent of previous titles, and with the same developer I guess that makes sense, but other details impress as well. There's a brimming options menu with settings to tweak performance as you please. There are pleasantly wide FOV choices, from console-friendly out to verging on wide-angle. It's perhaps time again to state that the best compliment you might pay Destiny 2 on PC is that there doesn't seem to be even a whiff of that dreaded phrase console port about the options and stable foundations on which the game is based. The actual content of the beta is what you might describe as limited in comparison to others, not least the time in which it's actually available to play. Perhaps this is as much a back-end general systems check as anything else. You can't help get the impression that Bungie is perhaps displaying a level of confidence about Destiny 2, that it doesn't need some sort of multi-week period to reach its prospective audience. There's a story-focused intro that's mainly played solo, and on occasion it sort of phases you in with other players for some of the larger fights, but then they fade away as you progress through. It's a sort of curious experience lacking in pleasantries that the British part of me finds slightly awkward to handle. I guess it's meant to suggest scale and being part of a larger battle with other people, yet it's only a small group of players in the end, and some part of me wants to say hello and all that kind of usual stuff. On top of the intro there's a smattering of PvP in the form of two game modes named Countdown and Control, which is basically Control Point and Search and Destroy to you and me. These modes are fun enough, but with the balance of some of the weapons, the lack of deeper modes, plus some reports that there's substantial aim assist if people choose to use controller on PC, which could obviously lead to other problems, it makes PvP feel more like side content to the main PvE meat of the experience of the game itself. That main course for me was the 3-player strike, I guess raid is the term for PC MMO players, that was rather epically named the Inverted Spire. This was PvE all the way, and really helped show the heart of the game to new players. Epic locations, some really superb visual design, massive enemies, some mild problem solving and sort of phases to learn. I must admit I really quite enjoyed it. Though perhaps more than anything, for me, it placed even greater focus on playing the game with friends. The early experience of the introduction, the silent other players phased into your game, I can't imagine enjoying the strike half as much if that had been how I played it. I wonder if the farm social space is meant to bridge that gap somehow, a safe spot for hanging out, visiting NPC vendors and so on. But the small numbers we saw in the beta, it sounds like a tough job to actually find like-minded strangers to create a group with. Like some of the games I've played recently, Fortnite being another one actually, for a game with a huge user base, it can actually feel quite a lonely, empty experience if you're not with friends. Things like fireteam size variations felt like a misstep somehow as well. So there's 4 people per side for PvP matches, yet the strike was only for 3 players. And that might seem like a minor issue, but if you're contacting friends to organise, how many are you going to message? Are we definitely playing PvP, or are we just doing PvE, in which case it's only 3? There are elements of the gameplay that are best experienced with coordination and that feeling of community. So, removing all the barriers or bumps in the road towards that should, in my opinion at least, be a priority. This is, after all, just a limited beta over a couple of days. I'm actually more hopeful about Destiny 2 on PC than I was previously. There's real care being taken to create a worthwhile version for a new audience. Part of me yearns to repeat those initial few weeks of The Division. A new IP, new things to see and do and progress. If Bungie can keep Destiny 2 on course, I'd be happy, AAA price tag or not. The only final point that sours my outlook on Destiny 2 is the nagging feeling that, as newcomers to the series, we already seem to be in an odd situation of feeling like second or even third class citizens. So, the PS4 has had exclusive content before. This time there's an exclusive strike, a raid like I said. It's called the Lake of Shadows. There's an exclusive ship, an exclusive exotic weapon, and a whole PvP map that'll be exclusive to the PS4 only until the fall of 2018. Okay. Well, that would be one thing to swallow, but PC players, we don't even get to ride the wave of joy on release. For both PS4 and Xbox One consoles, Destiny 2 releases on September the 6th, 2017. As I type this, that is 1 week away. For PC players, the release date is October the 24th, 2017. That is 1 month, 18 days later, or almost 7 weeks later if you prefer. For a game like Destiny 2, that's a heck of a long time to insulate yourself from news, from spoilers. That's a long time not to be involved in finding out the new metas for the weapons, for tactics, to be on the forefront of learning about, the fresh new stories, the Easter eggs, the gameplay that's all been released into this expectant audience. I get that simultaneous launches across 3 platforms would place a strain on any infrastructure, but that doesn't account for 7 weeks worth of waiting. So, for what it's worth, I've decided to make that wait work for me as best I can. Would I want to play Destiny 2 on release? Sure I would. It sounds like a blast. Will I pre-order? Well, why would I? I can wait for it to release on console, wait for the dust to settle, and then even then I'll have weeks and weeks to make a decision. Clearly time and considerable effort has gone into Destiny 2, and specifically its PC version. It's just regrettable that the worldwide launch on September the 6th won't include PC players. For them, there's an over 1.5 month wait. I'd love to know what you fine people think of Destiny 2 on PC. In fact, I'd love to know if you played the original on console. What are your impressions? Do you think it'll be on your must-buy list? Leave a comment in the section below right now. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then why not tap the thumb up button and thumb that subscribe. It helps me grow the channel and make videos like this one. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm @LCTRGames. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.